Coming up next on Another View, the unique challenges facing by our female veterans once they return home. The overseas conflicts may be coming to an end, but women vets are finding a new battlefield right here at home. Many of these women find themselves dealing with homelessness, physical and mental health complications, and the reestablishment of family ties. Unfortunately, there are not a lot of services that cater specifically to female veterans, but there is one organization hoping to change that. On today's show, we'll talk about the Gladys Gatlin Foundations and the work they are doing to help our female veterans readjust to life after war. Help for female veterans, right after this news from NPR.
Discussing the issues and celebrating the successes of the African American community. This is Another View.
And good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Another View. I'm Barbara Ham Lee. You know, there are more than 800,000 veterans living in Virginia, and about 95,000 of them are women. Now, there's a perception among the civilian world that if a veteran has a problem, be it housing, health-related, or some other social issue, that the Veterans Administration is just a phone call away and that they handle all of the problems. Apparently, that is not the case, particularly for female veterans. Many of these women who have sacrificed to defend our country are coming home with unique challenges and precious few resources to help. But there's one organization that is determined to make a difference. It's the Gladys Gatlin Foundations, a nonprofit dedicated to helping female veterans readjust to civilian life. Please welcome Aubrey veteran Bridget Reed.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi.
Glad to have you with us today. The senior advisor of the Gladys Gatlin Foundation, Aubrey Wilson. Hi, Aubrey.
Hi.
How are you? Glad to have you. And Bruce Williams, who is the marketing and public relations arm of the foundation. Hi, Bruce.
Hi, how are you? Barbara?
Okay, welcome back to Another View. We're happy to have you. So, Bridget, I want to start with you because you are the face of who the Gladys Gatlin Foundation assists. Tell us, first of all, why did you go into the service? Give us a little sense of your history.
Okay, I went into the service in 2003, and I went in looking for, I guess, some adventure, to have some stability. I was stationed overseas in Germany and did a lot of traveling over there. I did 2 tours in Iraq. The first tour was in 2004 to 2005. It was a 12-month tour. And then the second tour was from 2007 to 2008, which was a 15-month tour.
And you in the Army?
Yes, I was in the Army.
Okay.
Yes.
And what did you do in the Army?
I was a 92 Alpha supply, so mainly doing supply.
To the civilian, what's that
Logistics.
mean? Logistics, okay.
Yes,
okay.
yes, doing logistics, yeah.
Okay. And when you came home the second time, did you come out of the service at that point?
After, actually I was stop lost. And for the civilians who don't know what that is when they basically can keep you in service even though you're coming up for your time to become discharged, but they can keep you in, and if there's a war going on, past your discharge date.
Okay.
So that's what happened with me the second tour. So after I came back from Iraq, I did get discharged from the military. I came back home, and of course, with the economy being as it is, it was difficult to find employment. And after a while, your funds become depleted. And it's really tough during this time.
So when you leave the service, tell me a little bit about what kind of resources do you have at that point? What does the Army do or say to you? Okay, we're getting ready to let you go, but here's what we're giving you, or here's what we're not giving you. Give me a sense of that.
Basically, your support would be through the VA. Now, however, they have limited sources of what they have also, because I found out that they're not really self-contained. If there's really immediate needs like with the homeless situation, particularly here in Hampton Roads, they look for other resources outside of the VA because they're not able to sustain all the veterans that are here in this area if you do have an issue.
So when you went into the service, were you you had a home then, or did you not?
Yes, I was. I did have. When I was sharing with the roommate situation. Okay. So when I went into service, and like I said, I was stationed overseas. So basically, I stayed in the dorms while I was there, and also throughout deployments and so forth. So when I came home, I had to try to reestablish myself. Trying to get set up. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So you started looking. Your funds started depleting.
Yes, and I did initially. I used my GI Bill, my 9/11 GI Bill, to attend school. Initially, I found it hard to focus. Trying to come back and readjust, and it was difficult for me to focus on school. And later on, I was diagnosed with having a disability with
the bracelets are jangling. That's what it is. Okay, no problem.
I found it difficult to focus, and later on I was diagnosed with PTSD, and that may have been part of the issue of why I couldn't focus in school. Now I'm going through a second attempt with school now, and I'm trying to take it one day at a time, and trying to remain focused on my schoolwork right now.
So when you discovered that you had PTSD, did the VA, were they able to help you with that, or did you find yourself? I'm trying to get to how you got to the Gladys Gatlin Foundation.
With the Gladys Gatlin Foundation. Yes, because as I said, I found that, like I said, through the homeless situation, I was looking for resources, anybody who were able to, try to assist, a homeless female vet. And actually, I got their name through another resource, because they weren't able to assist. So I'm like, well, is there anybody else? And they gave me the name of the Gladys Gatlin Foundation, and that's why I contacted them. So that's how I found out about it.
And that's how you found out?
And that's usually how it is. You may go to one resource, they can't assist you, so they give you a number, and you're calling to see if anybody, someone can help. So, and that's how I got there.
So, Aubrey, part of your mission with the foundations is, and my producer said, stop saying foundations, but there is an S at the end of the name of the organization. So when you want to be that stopgap to assist these female vets?
Absolutely. Is that our first goal is alerting them to what resources are out there, because as Bridget so clearly stated, the first obstacle is just finding out what's out there, who will help you, who can help you. Because just because it's a veteran organization and houses people, typically it's for men and it's not for women. And if you're unfortunate enough, in this case, to have kids, it's even worse.
So now you're a vet.
I am.
Also. How did you decide to start this foundation? Excuse me.
Actually, it was. It stems from the fact that when I was in the military, I had a whole squad of females, and when I first joined the squad, I was the second highest in command, and I got promoted, and they all became my squad. And we still had the same requirements. We still had to change tires and, work in the motor pool. And it was a little taxing because I needed 3 women to do a job for 2 men. But I found with a little training.
And was that mainly because of strength? Or
it was because of strength.
Okay.
But even though that was a shortcking, they had other skills, they had other gifts that I soon learned to appreciate. And when I started to see exactly what was happening, because it wasn't just the housing part. I realized that there were so many other things that happened to veteran women that was just beyond the pale. It just tugged at me because it's not fair. These women have raised their level of participation to function in a combat situation, to function in a macho environment, and then to come back home and just literally be smacked in the face. I just didn't think it was fair. And having served in the military and experienced these same types of discrimination as a black soldier, I could empathize.
And so therefore you started the foundation. Bruce, what kinds of issues specifically are female veterans facing that are different from what the men are facing?
Well, let's start first with Bridget was kind by saying she was in logistics and kind of played it easy. But if you recall, the Iraq and Afghanistan war, the most dangerous job was logistics. I mean, that's
when you ran into those IUDs.
Exactly. And so the trauma, and those that were heavily populated by women who were involved. So the argument that places, well, women aren't in combat is ridiculous, because the minute you're in the country, you're in combat. But they also faced an age-old discrimination that, quote, women aren't really veterans. And some women even believe that. So you get past that. The second piece is, as was pointed out, the VA hasn't always been gender friendly. In fact, even today, if I'm a woman veteran and I want to go to the VA hospital in Hampton, which is a fairly good hospital, I can't take my kids. There's no place for my kids.
For them to go.
There's no place for them to go. There's no place for me to have them stay. If I haven't got somebody who's taking care of them somewhere else, that's it for me. We haven't talked about.
There was an article in I believe it was in the Daily Press where they were talking about having a changing table in the women's bathroom. So because you have the babies with you if you have to take your child, and that accommodation's not there, mainly because for a long time they just did not deal with female vets. Right?
It's a male-oriented society. The new women's clinic is yet to be completed, which is a step in the right direction, but it hasn't been completed. Mm-hmm. You have also a thing called military sexual trauma, which is kind of the hidden secret, but women are abused in the military at all different ranks, and in some cases by the person who they report to. And although you can say, well, they can report it, if you're in the career, trying to make a career out of the military, a woman doesn't enhance her career by reporting something like that, particularly if it's her commanding officer or a step above her that's involved. Mm-hmm. And you've heard more about that now than you've had before, but it's a reality. And then you have the disparities of women in general, what they earn, what jobs they hold, what ranks they have, and then they come home and have the same disparities in place. And sometimes, unless you're abused or you have kids, if you're single and you're a woman and you're a vet, we found through our own example, the resources aren't there either. In fact, there are very few resources available for folks trying to get themselves reoriented.
So if someone calls the Gladys Gatlin Foundation, what do they say? What do they get?
Well, that's the difficult part, because part of what we're trying to do is to get the resources to help it. At the juncture when Bridget called us, we were in a referral stage, but her needs were more than referral. And we did our best to try to call up folks and but again, we found the resources aren't there. And what Aubrey's mentioning about being able to provide the resources to house, to transition, to train, to hire folks like Bridget and others who need those assistances right now, we're not there. Mm-hmm. But we're trying. Basically through volunteer help, through our own personal resources, we've been able to help Bridget. But that's not the goal. The goal is to have resources funded so that someone like Bridget calls us, we can immediately put them in a position of transition that's beneficial to their lifestyle, to their livelihood. Simple stuff: gas, phone, lodging, food. Sometimes it's just as simple as that. So a person can concentrate on their studies or getting a job or getting job training.
Mm-hmm. Now, the other thing that you're doing also is partnering with some other organizations that are working in this field. Also, I want to bring on the line Dennis Connolly. Dennis is the commander of Chapter 27 of the Disabled American Veterans, and he is the homeless chairperson. How are you, Dennis?
Fine. How you doing?
Good, doing good. So you hear us talking about what the Gladys Gatlin Foundations are trying to do. Tell us a little bit about what you all are doing.
What we do, our organization, what we do is when a veteran come in, a female veteran come in, first thing we do, we try to get first to understand, have they filed for their disability? If they haven't filed for disability, we have to file their disability claim. Mm-hmm. And after that, if they come in and say they're homeless, my job is to try to find some place for them to stay. Because most of the time they come to me, they're homeless, they sleeping on the street. So what I try to do then is try to put them in a hotel for a couple of nights and then try to help them locate an apartment. Mm-hmm. And once we do that, my job is try to assist them to get into their apartment. And the assistance may be pay the first month rent and the deposit.
Mm-hmm. So are there a lot of these organizations such as yourself with the Gladys Gatlin Foundations, others, are you all able to find each other and to come together, Aubrey?
On some occasions, we found one called Vet House that's actually in California, and they have probably about 50 units. and coming to the northern portion of Virginia to build even more units. So there are organizations like that, but when it comes to female veterans, they're very few and far between.
Mm-hmm. Do you find a difference, Mr. Conley, between women and male veterans when you're trying to help them?
Yes, I do. And since I've been doing this for around 3 years, I have seen more female veterans than male veterans. So the demand is more higher for female veterans.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And like you said, sometimes it's hard to try to find a place for a female veteran because the situation is so tight because they not, half the time don't have a job or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and they also don't have the family support then, apparently.
Right.
Okay. So what would, do you have a phone number or information that you'd like to leave with our listening audience if someone needs your assistance?
Okay, you can give me a call at 757-393-0104.
Okay. All righty. We appreciate you joining us today. That was Dennis Conley, commander of Chapter 27 of the Disabled American Veterans, and he is the homeless chairperson. Bridget, you talk to other female vets. Are a lot of them in your same situation, particularly with this homeless piece?
Actually, I haven't talked to very many, honestly, but I am aware that there is a need for it. I haven't necessarily, like I said, been talking to a lot of them, but I am generally aware, especially with the Gladys Gatlin Foundation and the statistics that they have as far as what's going on here. So now I know that I'm not the only one in this
But when
situation.
you came out of the Army, did you have any anticipation that this would be an issue for you?
No, not initially. I guess I was optimistic and thought, that I can, come out here and plug in. But unfortunately, it would, like I said, with the downturn of the economy and that's like for civilians as well, it just didn't work out the way that I thought it was. And like I said, eventually with the funding and my savings being depleted, that's what, led to me being where I am right now. So I'm just trying to see if I can climb my way out of this hole and try to move forward. So
440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240 are the numbers to call. Give us a call if you are a veteran, if you have faced some of the challenges that Bridget is facing, or if you have some suggestions on ways that particularly female veterans can improve their lot. 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Bruce, so women, do you see things changing now that it is becoming more apparent that women are having these issues?
Well, part of it is why we're here today and why I'm so glad Bridget came out to tell her story, because it's an awareness piece. You pointed out from a civilian standpoint, a lot of folks don't even think there's a difference between what women veterans face and what male veterans face. Secondly is there's this assumption that all is taken care of. You hear people wave the flag about women veterans, but when it gets down to the nitty-gritty, actually providing services and resources for them, it gets to be a challenge. And sometimes, like you said, the resources are overwhelming. There's a program called HUD-VASH, for example, which is supposed to provide a voucher through HUD and the Veterans Administration for housing. Well, okay, the program exists, but you can't get the vouchers because the vouchers aren't available, and there's a waiting list. Bridget, how long does it take to get a doctor's appointment now?
It can be a good while. I mean, it may be a couple of months. I mean, you can't just get in right away.
You just can't walk into it and have an exam or anything like that.
Definitely not. I mean, if you can try to walk in, but you may be sitting there for a while. So it's hard to get an appointment there.
And just the awareness of the challenges women face who've been in combat, who may be physically or mentally disabled, and then add that to the challenges of the economy. And you got what's called a perfect storm. Now, the good news is the more women, particularly those who are vets, who recognize that we've got the issue, we're seeing more folks saying, wait a minute, and they're listening and they're starting to pay attention. Hopefully we'll provide the support necessary.
Aubrey, when you were in the service, which was a little while ago. But when you came, I'm still trying to get my arms around this whole idea of once you are discharged, that it feels like you all are saying that some people are just kind of flapping in the wind, if you will. I mean, there's and I really thought that there was a safety net there.
Not really. You get what they call a debriefing, and they sort of tell you have these benefits, and most of these benefits expire over time. Like maybe your dental will be good for 6 months, or you'll be able to go to a VA hospital for this long for this issue, and after that they're gone. And they don't go very much in depth, because typically, like at the wind down of a war, they're just trying to do what we call RIF, reduction in force, because you're an expense, and they no longer need you. So it's pretty drastic, almost draconian. You've done a job, great, we don't need you anymore.
440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Give us a call and let us know your experiences, especially if you are a female veteran. We would love to hear from you. The homeless, actually, we have a call. Alex is on the line from Virginia Beach. Hi, Alex, you're on the air.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Good, thank you. Go ahead.
I was calling, I'm not actually a veteran. I am an ombudsman for the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower here in Virginia Beach. And I was just calling to say, let's get some information together. I've never heard of the foundation before, and I'm glad I was listening to the program today. As the ombudsman, I offer resources to the spouses of military members, but we also offer the resources to the military members as well. So I was just saying, let's join forces, kind of thing.
Alex, let me ask you this too. Now, once they become veterans after they've discharged from the military, do you still deal with them, or are you only as their active duty?
Technically, I guess I would have to say it's only as active duty, but we field calls from retired members saying, I'm looking for this, and I know that you were a good resource for me while I was on board, so can you still help me? And, of course, we offer that resource to them. Okay,
we grab a pen, because we're going to have someone give Bruce right now,
well,
give you the information.
We're so glad you called, because there's a great number of women in the armed forces, particularly in the Navy from our area here. Our number at the Gladys Gatlin Foundation is 340-757-340-4140. And you also have the website is www.GladysGatlin, that's I-N, foundations with an S.org. We're at 1701 Church Street, Suite B, Norfolk, Virginia, 23504. And if you give us a call or email us, we're glad to hook up with you, because I think that the more networking we can put together to bring awareness and to provide information and resources, we can help our women veterans.
Got that, Alex?
Generally call us as the ombudsman, because while there are more and more men ombudsmen, it is primarily a female occupation. So they do tend, the female military members tend to talk to us more than others. We're bound by confidentiality and things like that. So.
Right. Well, the other thing you could do also is, if when you talk to the producer here, by all means, just give them your number. We'll contact you.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for everything that you do and the services and support you provide to our military members.
Thank you so much for your call, Alex. We really appreciate it. Let's go to LaJan in Portsmouth. Hi, LaJan. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning. Should I say good afternoon?
Good afternoon. Go ahead.
Well, I'm a single parent of 4. I'm currently in a shelter as we speak. I do have a bachelor's degree in biology. It's been hard for me to get a job. I moved here a couple of years ago from Indianapolis to be closer to home. And it's been...
LaJan, can you share a little bit about your story in terms of what happened to you once you got out?
Well, I wanted to be a stay-home mom. I got out when my babies were born. I have a set of twins. Was in Alaska at the time, and kept on getting sick because of the cold weather. So,
were you in the Army?
Yeah.
Okay.
I still feel it. I still feel it. And I love the military in spite of the politics. I miss the camaraderie. I miss the togetherness. I have felt lost since I've been out. And I just miss that family. But I moved back to Virginia. My father had passed away. And I told myself I wasn't going to go to any more funerals for reasons of coming together to see family. And my mother's still living, so I'm closer to her. But it's been hard for me to even get a job, especially when I haven't worked since 2009. And they asked your age, and I even went to school. I went to Everest. I graduated in November for medical administration. Mind you, I asked for a minimum of $12 to find out that was way too much. And so I feel like I'm up against the wall because they said the max you can really ask for medical administration assistance is $8. What are you going to do with $8 an hour? Never worked in that position before, and tried to support 4 kids.
Wow.
So I've got my head up. I think I encourage myself every day. Try to go running. I still got the jogging thing. I still sing cadence to myself. That's right.
Aubrey, you want to respond?
Well, her case is typical, and I recognize that, and she makes a lot of points. One of which is the biggest transition for military people getting out is getting outside of the military matrix. And in the military matrix, certain things exist that you can count on, like the guy next to you. You know he's just as mission-oriented as you are, and he's got your back. And your mindset is shaped for the military matrix. And when you get out, you find that this guy next to you doesn't really care. And he's not really proficient. He's not trying to stay proficient. And so he doesn't have a mission mindset. And even though you're out of the military, you still want to be with people that you have that camaraderie with, and it doesn't exist. Mm-hmm. And that's the real problem is you're trying to function in the civilian matrix with a military matrix mind.
And it's difficult
it's
to
very
work
difficult.
yourself.
And nobody tells you. You don't debrief.
Bridget, you want to respond to that?
Oh, I was just listening to LaJean talking about how they offered her $8 an hour and she's got 4 kids to feed. I mean, that wouldn't be enough for one person. I mean, to me, that's like an insult, I would think. $8 an hour?
Well, LaJean, I want to ask you to continue to listen because we're getting another set of guests on the line today that may be able to help you, we hope, in terms of the job situation. So keep listening, and that's coming up in just a few minutes, okay?
Can I make another comment?
Yes, ma'am.
If possible. I'm actually driving, getting ready to go take a test. I don't know if I'm saying too much as it is, but I believe things happen for a reason, and I just turned to you guys, and y'all are hitting buttons right on course, and I want to make sure that if I can call back later, maybe get some information so I won't get into an accident.
Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, when we hang up from you, our producer will take your number and we'll be able to give you a call back, and we'll have the people from the Gladys Gatlin Foundation to give you a call back and see if there's some other resources they can help you with.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you for calling. That is quite a story. Wow.
Yeah.
But that's what brings it home.
There you are.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, she was a hidden person until just this moment. She's a vet, 4 kids, and yet here she is.
Yeah.
That's reality.
And people just really are not aware that this is going on. 440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. If you're just joining us, we're talking about the unique challenges facing female veterans with Army veteran Bridget Reed, along with Aubrey Wilson and Bruce Williams of the Gladys Gatlin Foundations. Why does it have an S?
We have aspirations.
So you plan to expand this out?
We do. There's a great need. I guess I'm more angry simply because I look at the fact that these women have aspired to such a level. You can hear it in her voice. She still runs. She's still gung-ho. She says hooah because she's committed. There's a certain level of professionalism that she's achieved. And the military is the closest thing to a real meritocracy in this country. If you're E6, you're E6. You're responsible. This person that's an E5 has to give you your props. And for a woman to have to drop down and come into this situation where she's no longer respected for her capabilities, for her performance, is an obvious slap in the face.
Well, I mean, she's clearly very, very well educated also, in terms of degree and the inability to be able to find work from there.
And this is a society that gets excited about dogs. I mean, this is a society that gets excited about, a duck going across the street. And here we have a veteran who waves the flag. We have Memorial Day and all the waving of the flag. And here's a veteran who obviously needs help at a job and can't find it in the second largest military complex in the country. Explain it.
440-2665 or 1-800-940-2240. Joining us now are Monica Hall, who is with the Virginia Employment Commission on the Eastern Shore, along with Jean Hungerville, who is the Executive Director of the Eastern Shore of Virginia Chamber of Commerce. How are you, ladies?
Great. Good. How are you?
Good, fantastic, and thank you so much for joining us. I don't know if you heard our last call, but the last couple of calls we've had have talked about the lack of employment opportunities for female veterans, and I know that this fits precisely with the project that you're working on.
Oh, absolutely. The project that we're working on is a job fair called Hiring Our Heroes. It's a U.S. Chamber initiative that has what we here on the Eastern Shore are now part of. The job fair is going to be the 29th of this month at Nandua High School here, and we are really excited about this. It's a partnership with the Virginia Employment Commission. NBC News is a big sponsor of this, both the Chincoteague and Northampton chambers, as well as the Eastern Shore Virginia Chamber, U.S. Chamber, the American Legion. We just have a huge team on board. It's for employers and for job seekers.
Okay, now that was Jean speaking,
right.
Correct? And Monica, tell us exactly how the job fair is going to be set up.
Sure. First of all, I want to let you know I am a female veteran, and I'm very proud that I am a veteran. I served the United States Navy. I'm really excited. The position that I'm in, I'm called a leaver. I actually help veterans find employment, and we're all over the state. And so this is a project that I came up with for this year, and we're pulling veterans hopefully from across the water, your side, and then our local vets here all the way up through Baltimore, Maryland, including employers. And it's going to be set up at our biggest location here, which is our high school. It'll be at Nandua High School. And currently ours is going to be set up a little bit differently than the traditional Hire Our Heroes. We're not only, I call it our Eastern Shore flair. We want a veteran to come in and we want them to feel welcomed. We want them to know about all of their benefits and all the different services that are available to them on the Eastern Shore and some that are coming from across the bay to service the vets here on the shore. So any veteran that comes in, they're not just going to go see an employer. They're going to find out about their benefits if they choose to go in there into that area and learn about what's available to them. Then we currently have 30 employers, and our goal is to have 75, which I know that we will easily reach. And we will have some workshops going on for veterans to teach them how to work a job fair to actually make it easier for them. That will start at 8 o'clock in the morning. The job fair starts at 9, but I've never known a vet not to be early. So we're going to have something for them that early in the morning. And then at 10 o'clock, we're also going to offer another workshop called How to Negotiate a Salary, because we want the job offers to be there, but we also want the veteran to be educated on how to get the best the amount that they can. So we have employers set up. We have a resource room. So if you get there and the employer says, I need you to go online and pull something for me, we're going to have those resources. We will have classrooms that employers, if they need to give you a test or they want to interview privately, that'll be set up and available to you as well.
So now, pardon me, and can any vet then can come? You don't have to live on the Eastern Shore, is that correct?
That is correct. And in fact, this job fair is targeting veteran job seekers, transitioning active duty military service members, Guard and Reserve members, and military spouses. So any of those folks are welcome to come over and be a part of our event.
And the thing that's wonderful about this is it's not just Eastern Shore employers. Yes, we do have Eastern Shore employers here, and this is a wonderful place to work as well. but it's we also have employers coming from as far away as Greenville, South Carolina, and then up into Maryland and from across the Bay. So we're very excited about this because we feel like the quality of jobs that are going to be offered are worth relocating for.
Mm-hmm. We do have a NASA base here, and NASA is a part of it. We have some federal contractors that will be a part of it. And I've actually extended an offer to Morris Bradley, who is a military recruiter. They will be here, and if a veteran's willing to relocate, they probably have a job with their skill sets available for them.
So, Monica, if you said that there are people with your same position all throughout the state of Virginia.
Yes.
So if a veteran or a Gladys Gatlin Foundation's work client wants to find that person, what is the title that they ask for again?
They're actually going to go to, in Virginia, they would go to the Virginia Employment Commission.
Okay.
And any of the locations. And they just walk in the door, bring in their DD-214, and tell them that they're a veteran. And we give priority of services to our veterans. So it doesn't matter if there's 500 people sitting there. If they're looking for a job and they tell them they're a veteran, if there is a free vet rep, they're going to come take them.
Okay. Now tell us once again the date and where it is, and give us a phone number or a website that people can go and find out more information.
Sure. It's going to be Friday, June 29th.
Special
from
day.
9 to 1 with the first workshop at 8 a.m. And the website that all veterans and employers would be interested in registering is at hoh.greatjob.net. hoh.greatjob.net. That's correct. And if they have any questions, I'll be happy to give them my phone number.
Okay.
And that, as well as if they want to know who a vet rep is, just give me a call. I can pull it up and let them know where they're located.
Okay.
And vet reps are nationwide, so it's not just for Virginia, but for Virginians, you just go into a VEC office.
And your number is 757-302-2018?
That is correct.
Okay. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us today and for bringing this information to all of the vets out there that I know that are listening. And hopefully, I know that you all will have a very, very successful event and hopefully get lots of jobs for veterans.
Yes, thank you very much for having us on.
Alrighty, thank you.
We're looking forward to this.
Thank you very much. That's Monica Hall with the Virginia Employment Commission and Jean Hungerville, the Executive Director of the Eastern Shore of Virginia Chamber of Commerce. Now, let me ask you, Bridget, would you go to a job fair like this? Does that sound like something that would be intriguing?
Right now, I would say so, but with my studies, and I don't know if full-time employment will be able to fit in right now with school. Mm-hmm. But it does sound like something that other vets probably would take advantage of. If they're not working or if they can fit it into their school schedule.
Okay.
It does sound like it's promising.
Aubrey, we had a call, and the person didn't want to stay on the line, but they want to know, who is Gladys Gatlin?
Gladys Gatlin is my mother. I named it after my mother because when I was a kid, if you were a woman and you were impregnated, it was a real scarlet letter. You almost had to leave town. And so my mother was a beautician. I grew up in a beauty parlor. I've seen finger waves come in and go out 3 times. but in that capacity, I watched my mother counsel young women. She was a real keeper of secrets. And when I decided to name this organization, I thought about her, and I wanted to help these women and to make sure that something got done about it, at least help them. I can't change the situation they're in, but I can help them. And I wanted to simultaneously do this job and honor my mother at the same time.
Fantastic. Now, I know that you all need money, too,
we do.
In order to continue to expand your services and so forth. And Bruce says something special that's coming up. Is that not right?
Oh, yeah. We got a great concert coming up at the cooperation with the city of Suffolk. The best jazz lineup on the East Coast. With got Boney James and
Brian Culbertson.
Brian Culbertson. Mm-hmm. You've got Spyro Gyra. All coming to be a great outdoor festival, a 2-day event right behind the Suffolk Hilton Inn. Plenty of space on the waterfront. Great jazz, great atmosphere. We had one several months ago and brought the house down, but more importantly, it was able to highlight what we're trying to do for women veterans. And hopefully this one will provide some of the resources so we won't have to scramble around to help people like Bridget when they give us a call. Or we can do more for LaJohn and people like that. And that's really what we're dealing with right here. I mean, in order to get the necessary tools that these veterans need, there needs to be infrastructure. Infrastructure costs money.
When is the concert?
The concert is July 28th and 29th, 2012, 4 p.m.
And is there a website people can go to?
There certainly is. You can go on the website that we have for a website called SuffolkRiverfrontJazz.com. Or you can order online at 888-600-0437. That's SuffolkRiverfrontJazz.com or 888-600-0437. Brian Culberson, Boney James is going to be there, Spyro Gyra, all going to be blowing it out in Suffolk, no less, and what do you call it, urban country setting.
So you're spreading this around, though, because you really want this issue to be known to all of Hampton Roads.
Yes.
That this is not something that is unique to any particular area. We've heard from people on the Eastern Shore. We've heard from people on the peninsula. You know, the concert is in Suffolk. It's all of our issue.
Well, Hampton Roads, first of all, the state of Virginia is one of 2 states that have the highest percentage of women veterans. The other one's Alaska. Hampton Roads.
That's what LaJohn was calling.
Hampton Roads, 60% of its veteran population is women, and it's growing. I was at the Chamber of Commerce when they honored the armed service people here in the area. 30% of those that were honored were women in all of the branches of service. And being a home port, and that we're winding down Afghanistan, they're coming back here. And we want to make it so it's easier for folks like Bridget to transition, that they got support. We were able to take Bridget from the point when she called us to where she's now got her resources stabilized.
So Bridget, you're in school?
Yes, I am in school right now. Going to summer school, accelerated classes. Yeah, I was able to get stabilized once I contacted them. They would, like they said, they're not completely funded yet, but with the resources they had available, I was able to become stabilized. I'm in school now, and it's gotten a little better. So.
I wish the audience could see the smile on your face.
By the way, she's studying hospitality management.
Pardon me. Let me ask you one quick question. What would you say to a female vet who's kind of feeling kind of down right now? What would you tell her to do?
Well, first of all, I've been in your shoes. You know, I'm a female vet also, so I can identify with what they're dealing with. What I would tell them is to try to use your resources. Hopefully, if you're listening out there today, with Gladys Gatlin Foundations, they were able to assist me, and hopefully with more funding, they'll be able to assist them as well as some other vets. And just try to hold their head up.
Reach out for help.
Reach out for help. Yeah.
Okay, Bruce, we got 1 minute left.
Yeah, definitely. We'll if we can't, we'll try to find help for you. So
give us the phone number to the foundation one more time.
Phone number is 757-340-4140.
Okay, and all of this information, I know we've been giving out a lot today, will be on our website so that we can make sure that people can get to the information. Aubrey, I'm going to give you the last word because, this is a passion for you.
It is. And there's just so much we can't cover it in an hour. But I'd like to have your listeners look for a movie that's coming out. It's called The Invisible War, and it really highlights the plight of females in the military, because most people don't realize it's not just treacherous outside, it's treacherous inside. Fully 19,000 rapes are reported in the military annually, and that's the reported number. It's just, for me, it's just such a slight for a woman to rise to this level of professionalism and only to be treated so badly when she leaves the military. They deserve our support. They deserve everything that's out there for them. And the Gladys Gatlin Foundation was created to make sure they get it.
Now, you also have another business. I mean, this is your passion here.
It is.
But this is not your full-time
No,
job, is it?
We're actually government contractors. We do construction. We build mostly federal properties, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. We're a service-disabled, HUBZone, woman-owned company, and we've been doing this for several years. And we're trying to entice some of these women to take a look at what's out there for them should they decide to open their own businesses. We're in place to be able to actually help them get certified, actually create corporations in their name.
Okay.
We want to make sure that they have an opportunity to max out.
And to be able to become the best that they can be.
The very best they can be.
They can say that.
Cool.
And with that, we're done. Thank you so much for joining us. And again, we're going to place all of this information on our website also, which is anotherviewradio.org. And I hope that people will take advantage of the job market, the job fair that's coming up, and also call you all if they need some help. And we will be right back. Living my life like it's golden. Athletics, mentoring, and job readiness. Just a few of the ways the Children of the Sun Athletic Education Foundation is enhancing the lives of young people across our region. Spearheaded by Abdul Aswad, the group is best known for its annual Youth Leadership Conference, which brings hundreds of teens together to discuss the issues they face and develop viable solutions to some of their most pressing problems, like the dropout crisis, teen pregnancy, and peer pressure. Recently, WHRO and Dominion Power recognized the organization's important work during the Community Impact Awards luncheon. Our Lisa Godley gives us an inside look at the Children of the Sun and the wonderful work it does.
For 16 years, the Children of the Sun Athletic Education Foundation has exemplified what can be accomplished when you bring a community together for a common good.
These children need our support, and they need us to be there for them.
Each year, the annual Hampton Roads Youth Leadership Conference allows young people from all over the region to showcase what they can do. And it doesn't stop there. It trains them as leaders.
Stay out of trouble, stay focused, and continue to do the right thing.
The man spearheading the movement is Children of the Sun co-founder Abdul Aswad.
I'm 13 years old. I go to Northern Middle, and Mr. Oswald gave me a chance to do something positive with my life, and I thank him for that.
His commitment to this organization radiates from the many lives he's touched. Lives like 16-year-old Archie Showers.
I was running around the streets, basically, till I met Mr. Aswad. He told me to stay out of trouble, and I won't listen. And one day I got in trouble. Got brought home by the police for busting windows and doing violent things. And I learned my lesson, and something told me to listen to him. So I went over his house, and he was just talking to me about this youth program, and that's how I got started with Children of the Sun.
It doesn't matter if you're young or old. Abdul Aswad's caring, giving spirit is there.
When I started in this program, my life was shambles. Then I got to see his interaction with me, my daughter, and how much encouragement he gave. And then I seen what he was doing with the community. You know, it doesn't matter what time or day it is, he would always help. He would always inspire people to do better.
For Mr. Aswad, he has really had an impact on my life by just being another father figure to me, and he checks up on me all the time, and just being able to have him there for me. And I know that if I call him, he'll be able to help me with anything that I need.
While the Youth Leadership Conference gets a lot of the attention, it certainly isn't the only way the Children of the Sun impacts this region.
Team in the huddle. 1, 2, 3.
We do a summer job program every year that we partner with Second Chances. With that program, we do lawn care, planting flowers, and The focus is on work ethics. And we have a health and fitness camp at Coleman Place Elementary School every summer.
My name's Joe. 15, baby. Number 15, go.
We have a soccer team, and during the year we have a one-on-one mentoring program the whole entire year where we mentor to children.
4th Judicial Circuit Court Judge, the Honorable Gerald Jones, describes the organization's impact on the region this way.
In my opinion, there is no more important effort than we can be making than to help our children. Mr. Aswad and I became friends, and I became a strong supporter of Hampton Roads Children of the Sun. I've just been so much aware of him and all of the team that he has assembled through the years. There is no more valuable resource. It sounds trite, but it is true. Children are our most valuable resource.
For Another View, I'm Lisa Godley.
And you know, that's the beautiful thing about Hampton Roads, where people come together to help each other. Time now for things to view and do in Hampton Roads.
You will be my Saturday love.
It's all about everything business, from jobs to entrepreneurship. The Career Engineer hosts a National Career and Business Conference on Saturday, June 23rd at the Virginia Beach Resort and Conference Hotel. The conference will equip job seekers and small business owners with 21st century competitive advantages. Call 420-1109 to find out more. Announcing a summer 2012 one-week STEM program exploring career possibilities in engineering disciplines. This is for high school students with a GPA of 3.0 or above. It's free and sponsored by Old Dominion University. You must apply by June 25th. For an application packet, send an email to gselby@odu.edu. Master Gardener Sharon McQuaid will hold a lecture on edible landscaping as part of the Living with Nature series featuring Eastern Shore master gardeners and naturalists. It's Tuesday, June 26th at 7 p.m. at the Accomack Library on Front Street in Accomack. Call 757-787-3400 for more information. Psychiatrist and regular television expert Dr. Ish Major will be the guest speaker at the AMI Kids Luncheon on Wednesday, June 27th at noon at the Norfolk Marriott. AMI Kids is a national nonprofit organization dedicated to providing a promising future to troubled youth. Barbara Sierra serves as your MC. Call 545-5437 for ticket information. And every Thursday this summer, come enjoy Music by the Bay at Fort Monroe. It's free for everyone. On Thursday, June 28th, it's the soulful sounds of the U.S. Air Force Rhythm and Blue Jazz Ensemble. And I hope to see you next Saturday, June 23rd, at the Blueberry Jam in Wakefield. I'm serving as your MC. It's an all-day celebration of local foods, musicians, and artists, and it's for the entire family. Visit www.druryfarms.com to find out more. These and other events are on our website, anotherviewradio.org. Next week, we talk about the truth about the general education diploma. No, that's not what GED stands for, but we're going to talk about the GED next Friday at noon. For producer Lisa Godley, audio engineer Perry Smith, Lazashley Taylor, who answered the phones, I'm Barbara Ham Lee. Have a fabulous weekend, and let's get together again next Friday at noon for Another View.